Good day to you all. It is Tuesday, May 10th. This is a collective reading. I was feeling inspired. I've been feeling inspired to go live for a collective reading here on YouTube lately. And the feeling is I want to do it a little more often. That's the feeling at the moment. So here we are. This is a timeless reading. Yes. Nothing specific, no date or time specific. This is just whatever message needs to hit you or reach you at any moment. Here we go. This is it. Yeah. Welcome to Divine Conversations. I'm Eric. If you're new here, hello. It's nice to meet you. And hello to all the squad. Yeah. Hi, Virgo 83. Or hi, Arlene. R. Good morning, R. Hi, everybody. I'm going to give it a few more minutes to let people get in on the chat if they'd like to be here live. Of course, you don't have to be here live. This is going to be saved later. I'm feeling inspired to say if there are timestamps needed, there may be timestamps later on. But you would know that eventually. So anyway, I hope everyone is feeling well. I have not checked the chart today, but I did do a post on Patreon yesterday about the chart. Let's see if I can remember. It was a little bit of a strong day. Mercury started its retrograde stationing yesterday. As far as my system goes, from what I saw, I believe Mercury is going to be officially direct by like 8 a.m. on the 11th, which is tomorrow. So Mercury is currently stationing direct at this moment as we speak. Yesterday, Mercury and the Sun were making some interesting aspects. The Sun was squaring with Saturn, is probably still squaring with Saturn today. Mercury was also squaring with the Moon yesterday. That may have been a little bit of a difficult aspect for some of us, especially since the Moon, I feel like, was squaring to retrograde Pluto. There was something about yesterday that was making it, well, the moon is in Leo. The moon is probably still in Leo today, is going to be entering into Virgo later on today. But there was a sense of pride, there was a sense of ego, there was a sense of pride for oneself. There was a question of what are your standards. Leo is a very prideful energy, is a very self-oriented energy, yes. Leo likes to look good, Leo likes to have the best. So there was an energy yesterday of, with the moon being in Leo, squaring up to Mercury, while the sun was squaring to Saturn, and I believe the moon was squaring to retrograde Pluto at the, I think, something, I don't remember. But with all of that said, there was a question yesterday of what are my standards? And how is that helping me get where I need to go? With the sun squaring with Saturn, Saturn currently being in Capricorn, as I've been saying, Saturn in Capricorn has been helping us to hold a scaffolding, a kind of framework for the new that is being implemented into our lives, especially now that the sun has made its conjunction with Uranus. So Saturn in Capricorn this whole time has been kind of creating that scaffolding for us to build onto, right? And right now, the sun is still in Aries, is going to be reaching Taurus by the 13th, so in 3 days. The sun is in Aries, and that was squaring with Saturn, but Mercury is in Taurus right now, going retrograde in Taurus, and it was squaring up with the sun, the moon yesterday, which was in Leo. Our standards. What standards have we been holding ourselves to? Are they helping us get where we want to go in terms of the scaffolding that Saturn in Capricorn is holding up for us? This new framework for our lives. So that was an interesting thing. You may have been questioning yourself yesterday. You may have been, I'm hearing for some of you, you may have been questioning your morals. Maybe these standards are the morals. Yeah, the question was, what standards do I hold for myself? And what standards do I hold for my life? That was an interesting question. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I was chapped. Anyway, so that was yesterday. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to say about yesterday, that Mercury is in Taurus, Saturn is in Capricorn. These are earth signs. Mercury is going retrograde in Taurus right now. So, and Taurus can be seen as like the earth, right? So the physical structure. So with Mercury being a planet of learning and communication, with it going retrograde, like I've said in the past, Mercury retrograde allows us a chance to rewrite certain programming. So this was a perfect time. This still is, quite frankly, a perfect time with all of Mercury. Okay, so this is what Mercury in retrograde can be for us. This time period to rewrite certain programming. But the thing about it this time is you have, or at least it feels like we have enough experience in this new direction to have a general understanding of where it is we're going, or at least what it is we're trying to achieve. So at this point, you have some sort of energetic experience, Spirit is saying, to apply certain improvements, upgrades, to your structure, to your framework, to your process, especially with Mercury being in Taurus. Taurus being the physical structure would also be the energy that builds, goes through the actual process of building the physical structure, like literally putting the pieces together, all that meticulousness. Taurus would be the leader of that type of energy, whereas Capricorn, where Saturn is right now, would be that revolutionary energy, I would say, to build the framework that Taurus would follow. Virgo would be the mindset behind the reasoning for, the planning of, the discovery, the research for, the ingenuity, or the ingenuity and all that. And I hope this is kind of making sense. I'm just kind of rambling that off, but that's how it feels to me. So with Mercury being in Taurus, going retrograde in Taurus, good morning everybody, and Saturn being in Sagittarius, I'm sorry, in Capricorn, this is helping us fix up or improve the process we have moving forward, okay, in this new building structure. I didn't come into this with any sort of agenda other than to do a collective reading. So actually, I feel like I want to talk about Mercury retrograde in this frame of mind. Unfortunately, off the top of my head, I don't remember when Mercury retrograde ends. Any of you that do remember or are aware, go ahead and throw that into the chat. Hello, 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 everybody. So this is going to be a bit of a Mercury retrograde conversation, yeah? And what I want to do is I just want to pull messages for the collective in terms of Mercury retrograde. Things to be aware of, unforeseen circumstances, things you might want to hear, things you might want to know as we move into and through this Mercury retrograde. Yes? Yes. Welcome. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're new here, again, hello, I'm Eric. Also, when I talk about astrologies, those of you might be thinking I'm weird, but when I'm talking about astrology, I actually am talking about it from the true sidereal system, not mainstream or tropical. So in terms of let's say where the sun is placed. In my system, the sun is still in Aries, is not going to reach Taurus until May 13th. The moon was in Leo yesterday. The Mercury is in Taurus. But actually, in Western astrology, Mercury is probably in Gemini. Early June, UG Rose, that makes sense. That's kind of what I was picking up on intuitively just now, that it's early June. It's like we'll be close to summertime when Mercury starts to go back direct. Thank you, UG Rose, for that. June 2nd, there it goes. All right. Thank you, Rose. Two more shuffles here. Let's talk about this Mercury retrograde. So Mercury stations retrograde officially by around 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, which is May 11th. And according to our dear soul sister Rose here, UG Rose, Mercury retrograde ends June 2nd. So let's talk about this. Okay, one last shuffle. Here we go. What do we want to talk about? What do we need to know for this Mercury retrograde in Taurus in terms of true sidereal astrology? First message here is pay attention to your subconscious. Spirit is saying pay attention to your subconscious instances. An instance. What's an instance? An instance is categorized as an event, something that happens, something that emerges from your subconscious. It could be a thought, it could be a memory, it could be a feeling, it could be words, a word or a phrase or a sentence. It could be a conversation. Anything that emerges from your subconscious would be considered an individual instance. Okay. Of course, those instances, once you focus in on them, can branch off into the rest of their meaning. But okay, focus on the instances that emerge from your subconscious. We have the moon with the Three of Pentacles. Now, the Three of Pentacles is representing this retrograde motion of Mercury and the constructive energies that it provides to us. And Mercury would technically, especially in Taurus, would always be fairly constructive. Quite constructive, actually. I feel like Mercury in Taurus loves to build things, loves to construct things, loves to take things and make them real or make them corporeal or give them a physical representation, build it somehow from the ground up. So Mercury in Taurus always kind of has that energy, but specifically while Mercury is retrograde, it's giving you a moment to rework, to understand, to shore up, to look at what you have built so far and see how successful it has been or it has become, see how well formatted, how well built it is, to understand how you can best improve or just best move forward. Ideally, you want to be able to look back on what you've created here and say, oh, that's excellent. That is really strong, really firm, and very well put together. Let's continue doing it this way. Of course, sometimes that doesn't always happen, but that is what this moment is for, or that's what these moments can be for. A moment for you to take a step back and look at what you've got so far and say, okay, do I like this or do I not? I mean, yes, this does feel Seven of Pentacles-ish, but it's more about the construction phase and less about the harvest, because that's what Seven of Pentacles also kind of represents. But I digress. The next card you have here is the Six of Wands. You're building victory, okay? Oh, shoot, look at that. There's the Seven of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So, okay, this is a Seven of Pentacles moment. 100%, absolutely. Now, always keep in mind that your heart needs to be guiding you here. Underneath the Seven of Pentacles is the Knight of Cups, yes? Yes. Okay. The Ace of Pentacles was underneath the Knight of Cups. I wasn't getting anything specific from that other than the fact that for some of you, this is, okay, I am getting something specific. For some of you, this is a seed that needs to be planted or a seed that you're looking to or trying to plant. The analogy here is that you have a certain seed that grows a certain plant. You know what the plant is, but you could be doing research on how to best grow that. Let's say you want to grow tomatoes and you want to grow them to the best that they could be. This Ace of Pentacles with the Page of Swords, which would represent Gemini energy, also another Mercurial energy, right? Mercury, yes. Mercury is retrograde. That's what we're talking about here. It's like you're doing research on how to best facilitate the growth of this plant, okay? Some of you are doing that. And with your heart, see, but the research that you're doing is also heavily colored by the past. Underneath the Page of Swords is the Six of Cups, okay? I was reading this at the bottom of the deck and it wasn't making sense until now that I'm talking through it. So there's a message here for some of you. You're doing research on how best to fulfill this pentacle, fulfill this growth opportunity, this seed, the implementation of this seed, what Taurus in Mercury and Taurus wants to build for you, yes, or wants you to build. You're learning how to best focus this, but there's also a heavy energy or a heavy influence from the past, the Six of Cups. And what it feels like here is, yes, you're doing research on how to best facilitate the materialization of whatever this Ace of Pentacles represents for you. It could be a job, it could be a physical physical piece of property like a car. I'm hearing specifically a relationship, the mending of a relationship. It could literally be anything, whatever this new tangible physical opportunity or thing is for you. Yes, you're learning how to best flesh it out, but you're also taking a lot of the experiences that you've had in the past and in some cases projecting. Okay. Some of you are projecting the past onto your future, onto this Ace of Pentacles, and it's making it more difficult for you to figure out or to understand what it is you need to do for this. What needs to be happening, and some of you are in fact doing this, but what needs to be happening in that case is, instead of projecting the past onto the Ace of Pentacles here, take the learned experiences from the past and use that as an understanding on how to better nurture your Ace of Pentacles, your new. So I guess this is the research that some of you are doing or need to be doing. Instead of projecting the past onto this Ace of Pentacles, it's almost as if you want to project this Ace of Pentacles onto the past. Juxtaposition it and see how you can improve in the infiltration, in the materialization. I'm also hearing in the fluctuation of your Ace of Pentacles here. I don't know why. I don't know what fluctuation means. Personally, some of you do. Okay, underneath this Six of Cups is in fact the Five of Pentacles. Now remember, I was saying for some of you, you're projecting the past experiences or the past reality onto this new reality. And that's coming from lack mentality here, still feeling left out in the cold in terms of this, still haven't healed whatever this aspect is for you. And the best thing that I can say, the best advice I can give you in terms of healing this past situation or circumstance enough to no longer be projecting it onto your new, the best thing that I can say for you here is, hi Zephyr, is hi Blue Flame, is to practice forgiveness, because that's what's really needed here. Excuse me, a level of forgiveness. And the forgiveness is not for the other people or the situation itself. The forgiveness is for yourself. Okay? You're still carrying the burdens of these past experiences. That's why you're projecting it onto your new here. In some cases, you do have the Two of Swords to the world. There is a refusal. I'm going to be very honest with you guys. In some cases, there is a refusal here to let this go, to let go of your... I'm hearing it's guilt. To let go of the guilt and forgive. But you have to... You're forgiving yourself. That's where some of this nostalgia... I just heard nostalgia with this Six of Cups also. There's a level of nostalgia in this guilt. Ooh, that is twisted, honey. And some of you are also, what some of this Five of Pentacles energy here is, hi Amber, what some of this Five of Pentacles energy here is, universal passage, is also the fact that you don't feel good enough to release this guilt and live a guilt-free life. And some of that boils down to the amount of guilt and shame that has been written into society for centuries, mainly through the forces of religion and institution. Shame and guilt are really easy control tactics, really easy ways to control people. And even if you don't find yourself connected to religion or any certain church or the church or maybe even institutionalized energy, there still may be a level of a small amount of programming of guilt running deep within your system. And that's what's causing this Five of Pentacles energy. That's what's causing the lack of belief in oneself that you are worthy enough to release any sort of guilt or shame, which is causing you to project the past onto your new. But see, the problem is that some of you are doing this because you're trying to get to the new without dealing with the past. There it is. There it is. The Two of Swords, the refusal. Two of Swords, Six of Cups, the past, Five of Pentacles, shame and guilt, Ten of Wands, and the World. releasing the burdens that you literally no longer have to carry. In most cases, you never had to carry these burdens to begin with. This guilt, this shame, this fear, whatever this is, even if this is connected to a certain traumatic experience from your past that was put upon you or that you actively engaged in, I don't know, you still shouldn't be allowing yourself to carry this guilt any longer because it's doing nothing to serve you. Literally. That is not your natural state. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody goes through trauma. Shit happens. That's what part of life is. That doesn't mean you have to carry guilt and shame around for the rest of your life. That is a control tactic. So what you have to do here is, instead of projecting this past onto your new, I'm sorry, I'm getting this all screwed up. Instead of projecting the past onto your new here, what you need to do, see, instead of projecting the past onto the new, Six of Cups, Page of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, you should be doing this. No, wait. There it is. This. Projecting your Ace of Pentacles onto the past and seeing how and where you can improve. Let's say that again. And seeing how and where you can improve by projecting what it is new that you want onto the past and seeing where the discrepancies lie. Then you will have to release your denial of releasing this shame and guilt so that you can bring this cycle to a close. Mercury Retrograde. The Moon, Three of Pentacles, Six of Wands. The Moon is representing the subconscious in this situation. What is within your subconscious mind? What is within your subconscious programming? The Moon, at this point, I think it's like maybe it's around 11:30 in the morning on May 10th. Hi, Shauna. On May 10th, the Moon is moving into Virgo soon, if it hasn't done so already. Hey, Josiah. The Moon is moving into Virgo today, if it hasn't already. Today into tomorrow, I just heard. The Moon in Virgo is a really excellent time to work with Mercury retrograde. Why? Because Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini. Now, it's also Mercury retrograde with the Moon in Virgo. Could probably be a good time for shit to really go out of whack for you. You could potentially really lose control. Maybe. That's always a possibility. But hey, Dragoness. But at least you have the exact opposite opportunity of using it wisely, using it to your advantage if you choose to. This is the way that you could do so. Okay? I want to look deeper into this message. I want to talk about the Six of Cups some more. I'm going to use the A.fter tarot here. Okay. Let's talk about the Six of Cups some more, please, Spirit. Yes, I have, Shauna. I felt it about a month or so ago. I was feeling it pretty strongly. A feeling of dread. Yeah. Yes, I felt that. Don't worry. To me, it feels like impending doom, but really it's impending change. And, oh, Shauna, I'm actually really glad you mentioned that, because it feels like the dread or the impending doom that you're feeling is something that is being forced to be looked at, is being forced to reemerge, is what I just heard. Dragoness, thank you so much for that donation. Something that is being forced to reemerge, but when it reemerges this time in your life, it's going to be healed. which means that there is going to be a certain level of change that is necessary or that is to come with it. And these feelings of dread are, oh shit, what's about to change now? Or what am I going to have to go through now? That's kind of what this feels like. And that's what I think that's what we're talking about here with this Six of Cups energy, okay? One more shuffle. All right. So tell us more about this Six of Cups, please. You guys, I can't make this stuff up. Look at what's at the bottom of the deck. The Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles. This is exactly what we were talking about. The shame, the guilt, the fear, the overexertion, the stress. Talk about the Six of Cups, please, Spirit. Woo! Woo! You better look at that. You better look at that. You better look at that. Tell us about the Six of Cups, please. Excellent. I mean, I like the fact that Spirit is consistent with this message, or this element of the message, and that message is you will be overcoming this. Six of Wands is at the bottom of the deck, overall energy. Remember, we had the Six of Wands come out here. The Moon, the Three of Pentacles. That was the original message, the original thought form. Pay attention to what comes up, what instances arise from your subconscious. Pay attention to those because those are giving you construction bullet points, Three of Pentacles, that are going to lead to victory down the road. Okay? And what is arising from your subconscious? What are these instances that are arriving from your subconscious? Whoa, from your subconscious. It's the Six of Cups here. Things from the past that seem to have been, or on some level are shrouded in shame and or guilt, which is causing you to reject releasing them from yourselves, okay? Two of Swords, Ten of Wands, in order to close out those energetic cycles, right? Okay, that feels tough, that's a lot, that feels dangerous, it's causing dread. But ultimately, with this Six of Cups here, you're going to be, or you have the opportunity to be successful, to overcome it. Okay, overall energy is the Six of Wands. Now, the very first card that came out to clarify this Six of Cups is in fact death. I told you, whatever is coming up here, you guys, the reason why you're feeling a sense of dread or fear or impending doom is because something's about to change. You are going through a transformation, or you are going to be able to transform this. You will be given the opportunity, the golden nugget of an opportunity, I'm hearing, to change whatever this is. Okay? To stop giving to it. Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles has come out. It's reversed. It's very important that it came out this way, because the Page of Pentacles is a giver, is a committed energy, is a newbie, is someone that wants to learn, can often be someone that is naive, but is ready to learn, is ready to grow, is ready to expand, is ready to learn how to be more substantial, more sustainable. The Page of Pentacles is reversed. You kept giving to this situation from a juvenile place, only because there was no hope for growth in this type of situation, because it is a low vibrational negative situation. Gosh, I hope I'm trying to put this into better words. There was no potential for growth here in this circumstance, in this situation, because ultimately it's rooted in some sort of guilt, shame, and or fear, or it's some sort of toxic experience. I just heard a toxic romance. It was also, or it was some sort of traumatic experience that created this level of guilt, shame, and fear surrounding it that almost acted like a protective layer of this bubble of experience that needs to be healed. And you were trying to feed into it, but you were only feeding it sugar. You weren't feeding it substance. It could not grow on substance because it is not a being of light and love. It is a being of darkness and fear and trauma. So there was no growth to it. So it's the Page of I hope that made sense. But anyway, Page of Pentacles is reversed. No longer giving to this situation, potentially in a naive way. Also, just to boil it down, you know, in layman's terms, right? Death to this situation. Okay, but there are still two more cards. Ooh, bitch. The Tower to the Ace of Swords in reverse. Yo. Well, first and foremost, the Ace of Swords says no. The answer is no. This is a rejection of your time, attention, and energy. This is a rejection of your mental capacity, a rejection of your mental faculty. The Ace of Swords in reverse could also represent cutting something out. And that's exactly what we want to be doing here. Remember, the Seven of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck of our overall energy. This is this Mercury retrograde is very much a Seven of Pentacles energy. Some of you may be looking at me thinking it is too early in the stage, in the process, to be doing some sort of review. No, it's not. Actually, this is a really perfect time, really excellent time for you to see how your short-term efforts have been working up until now with an eye still on the long term, okay? Can you improve your process in any way? Is this giving you exactly or some semblance of what it is you want or where it is you're heading? What it is you're heading to? Is it taking you there? Does it look like, feel like, smell like? Is it starting to come together somehow? And if not, how can you improve that? What can you cut out? But it's coming out as the Tower also, because this is some extreme shit. These are some long-standing things. Okay, this is deep programming, deep subconscious programming that you seem to be, or we seem to be reworking here in this situation. Let's talk a little bit more about the Tower then. Yes? Talk about the Tower, please, Spirit. Okay, Temperance. Good. It's all for a higher meaning. It's all for a universal cause, I'm hearing. Okay. Okay. For some of you, this has social aspects to it. And this is taking me back to what I've been talking about with Uranus in Aries, revolutionizing your sense of self. I know Betsy over on Love and Science, I think it was her Virgo reading for the month of May. But also, I have been channeling this message for the collective. This is a time period right now where we are starting to question where we are putting our time, attention, and effort into, and how fruitful is that for us, or how much do we still want to be giving to that situation. And so for some of you, the first card here is the Three of Cups. For some of you, this is you re-identifying how you identify, changing your social groups, changing your social alignments, no longer giving to certain organizations or certain friends group or certain social aspects, or maybe even some sort of communal aspects in terms of like a hive mind mentality, a way of thinking, going along with the crowd or the herd in certain aspects. It feels like here, what this Tower moment may be for some of you, and this rejection of this situation, the answer is no, with the Ace of Swords reversed. This is you re-identifying your personal life to bring more justice into your life. So you have the Page of Wands, the Ace of Cups, and Justice. Okay. Now, it's not necessarily just social groups for some of you, although maybe it's not solely that. Maybe it's also that it's deeper, because this Three of Cups could also represent a level of union within the self. 555 on the counter. Masculine, feminine, inner child, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, if you will. I see the Three of Cups as a level of higher union within the self, whereas the Two of Cups would represent the union of masculine and feminine. The Three of Cups, when we talk about a certain level of union within the self, the Three of Cups would be masculine, feminine, and spirit. Okay? So even if this is not necessarily social for you, or maybe not just social for you. The underlying message or theme or reality that is bringing down this tower, or rejecting something that creates a tower moment of something now crumbling down because it no longer has the support of your choice, your time, attention, and energy, whatnot, whatever. So when you pull your energy away, the shit comes tumbling to the ground, right? Because it's lost a major cornerstone. It's lost a major support system for some of you. Whatever it is you're rejecting or choosing to reject, or however it is you're choosing to align, is going to rip your energy from certain energetic structures, and they are going to come tumbling to the ground. And it also may create some sort of domino effect. There is a lizard that's on the table here. Regeneration. But however it is you are re-identifying, changing your tune, changing your message, showing up differently in the world, we'll say, is because of a level of self-love that is allowing you to bring justice in. So this is what needs to happen, you guys. Love yourself enough, Ace of Cups, to let go of the belief that you are not worthy of releasing this pain, releasing this guilt, releasing this shame, living a guilt and shame-free life. There's no reason for you to be down in the dumps or dragging yourself in the mud for whatever mistakes you made in the past, mishaps you had in the past. That is literally how dark entities keep you in lower vibrational energies. By leading you to, provoking you to, influencing you to, deceiving you into believing you are not worthy of redemption, you are not worthy of salvation, you are not worthy of forgiveness. And really the only thing you need to do is forgive yourself. I mean, God, source creator, I mean, maybe I'm getting a little preachy, I don't know, but like God's already forgiven you. God never held it against you to begin with. You held it against yourself. Even if the ways you were holding it against yourself were influenced by society, in the mental construct of law and order, of which has no spiritual reality, by the way. Law and order is a human construct, okay? But even if it's just that, you are allowed to, you are allowed to set yourself free from that and say, no, no more. I'm not giving into that any longer. I'm not giving into these thoughts or beliefs about myself any longer, because I know they are not true. I know they are not who I am. I know that they are not who I am aspiring to be. So why should I hold myself to that reality any longer when it was never the reality I actually truly wanted to begin with? Whoa, that's profound. You should take your own advice on that one. But see, that's where temperance comes. Oh my God, yes. That's where temperance comes into play. Temperance with the Five of Pentacles. Again, that's what we were just talking about here. And temperance here is representing a level of grace. There is a message of grace in this, with this temperance energy. And what temperance is saying through the word or the message of grace is that everybody is here to experience something that helps us to build character. We call it character in human form. In spiritual form, we call it expansion, growth, wisdom, knowledge, attainment. You call it character. We call it expansion. It helps you to develop your soul. It helps you to develop your sense of individuality. And in reality, outside of this human third dimensional construct, you can literally go in any direction that you want without ever being guilted or shamed for it. Why? Because it all leads to experience, which leads to learning, which leads to growth. And that is the point of it all. So give yourself the grace to allow yourself to recognize that, yes, there are some things that you need to heal from, but that's all part of the process, you guys. Kneeling is not necessary. Bowing down to some ultimate creator is not necessary. You are that creator. You are an extension of that creator. You are meant to live so that that creator that you are being told you need to kneel to, which is really just you to begin with, so that that creator can learn, can experience, can grow. Give yourself the grace to let yourself out of the cold, because you were never meant to be there to begin with. The Lovers to the Ten of Wands to the Eight of Swords is at the bottom of the deck now. It's a choice. It absolutely is a choice, you guys, the Lovers, to let go of these burdens, the Ten of Wands, and to cut yourself from this mental prison, the Eight of Swords. But it is absolutely a choice in terms of what is best for your highest good. What is best for your highest good? Being left down in a ditch, in a mental prison, in a place where you are restricted and can no longer expand, is definitely not for your highest good. Being held down, weighed down to the ground, and not being able to fly as you were intentionally intended to is not for your highest good. But ultimately, you get to choose whichever one you want to be in. That's the law of free will. No one else can choose but you. Prepare yourself. Two of Swords. The denial to choose, the denial to see clearly, the denial to see that you are worthy of forgiveness and that you can forgive. Two of Swords, the denial of that. Letting that go is going to require you to do some emotional heavy lifting so that you can gain a level of independence and sovereignty, so that you no longer have to feel like this any longer, Five of Cups. And instead, you can feel like this, Queen of Wands. You know, Ten of Pentacles. This has actually been the goal the whole time. Whatever this experience is for you, I want you to see it as the process towards becoming the Queen of Wands. Being so confident, so spiritually attuned, so spiritually, divinely, universally connected, however you want to say it, Queen of Wands, that nothing gets in your way, that nothing pushes you out of the belief that you are not worthy or that you are not capable. This needs to be at the center of your energetic vibration, the Queen of Wands. Why? Because the center of your energetic vibration is where you attract from. And if this is not aligned properly, you're just going to attract a bunch of bullshit. Reasons to be sad, reasons to be angry, reasons to be upset, reasons to feel like a victim, reasons to feel hurt. Instead, when you shift that alignment towards reasons for glory, reasons for abundance, reasons to receive exactly what it is you intend to receive or exactly what it is you want to create, that is when you learn the lesson. That's when you complete the cycle. And that's when you can really step into new. That's what we're really talking about here. Closing oracle guidance. But remember, guys, the choice is yours. Always has been and always will be. But that's the kicker. That's the point. You were led to believe, you were led to accept that the choice is not yours for whatever given reason. It has always been yours. And when that understanding of you get to choose is taken away from you, that's when the ultimate control can be exerted upon you. Because you no longer have a right to choose when it was your God-given right the whole time. Make the choice for yourself. Let's close out this reading with the Crystal Mandala Oracle, yes? All right, 3 shuffles. 1, Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope this was helpful for you. This is 2. Please make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Yeah? And this is 3. All right. Closing message. Card number 48. Goddess Freya and Amber. The Untamed. You know, I'm really not a huge fan of the chickens anymore, especially now that I've been trying to have a garden. I've noticed just how destructive wild chickens are. It's very frustrating. But 2 of the clans, I have 2 clans flanking me, right? And there are chicks on either side. Or maybe it's just this one, but there are chicks. And while I understand they're gonna grow into little monsters later on, they are still so cute. Walking around with their mothers. I mean, like, talk about Happy Mother's Day, but it's like, it's the most adorable thing ever. Wait, hold on. Don't mind my, no, never mind. You know what? Never mind. Uh-oh. Never mind. I'm not gonna do that because my laundry is hanging. Anyway, I wish you could see. It's so adorable. It's so adorable. Okay, anyway. Card number 48. We bring you the empowerment of the untamed. To be untamed is to be true to oneself without condition. It is freedom, but it is not always easy. Okay. It is freedom, but it is not always easy. There are many belief systems, some of which are considered to be essential and beyond question to the mainstream human society, which would mark an untamed spirit as a dangerous and suspicious creature, even though that untamed spirit serves unconditional love. Yet, to be untamed is the only way to discover who you are and live your divine destiny. Beyond the clothing, the social masks, and the stories you tell yourself or that others tell you, there is a beautiful, wild, divine creature that wants out. Uncage that divinity and watch your wild beauty emerge as you and your world transform through raw grace. I kind of want to read this whole thing, you guys. I used to do that all the time. I'm going to do that today. One of the most exciting, terrifying, liberating, and, to those who live in fear, threatening thresholds you'll go through on the spiritual path is to unplug from mass conditioning. In the same way you may imagine a cult member having to deprogram their mind as they exit the cult and rejoin normal society, there will be a point on the spiritual path where you realize that normal society is actually trapped in a cult-like mindset of its own, and the freedom-loving divine rebel in you will want out. You can have your freedom, but you'll need courage. You'll go through loss. Admittedly, it's loss of what would ultimately suffocate your soul, but that might include people or places or things to which you have become attached. You may know it is the right thing to do to move on, yet you will need to grieve the loss. King of Cups. You'll spend some time in between worlds where you'll feel not quite in the past and not quite in the new life. You may have some travel companions for your transitional journey, but they won't necessarily feel like family. In fact, you may feel spiritually orphaned, lost, and alone. The home you have left wasn't right for you, but now you are homeless, and that doesn't seem to be right either. Fortunately, if you are brave enough to keep going, you will find the place where you belong. Put simply, you don't give up until you find it. Let me say that again. Put simply, you don't give up until you find it. When a wild animal has been wounded, it keeps on moving It keeps on the move until it can find a safe place to rest and recover. Your instincts will guide you to do the same as you heal the wounds inflicted upon your body and mind by fear-based societal conditioning. You will eventually be strong enough to free yourself from the conditioning and belief systems that once hampered your heart and diminished your dreams. In due course, the deprogramming will shift to reprogramming. Instead of just fighting against what has been drummed into your body and mind through fear, you'll begin to feel free. You will start to embrace new ideas, more loving realities, and put those new new beliefs to the test. In time, you will find not only a way to live that feels authentic to your wild, divine nature, but connections with other souls who have gone through their own unplugging process and with whom you will share your great love affair with life. This oracle brings you guidance. Do not allow fear-based reality to temper your spirit, tame your heart, or dull your dreams. There are so many people who will tell you no, call you crazy, and say you are, quote, living in a dream world, end quote. That is what they need to believe because your increasing aliveness is too much for them as of yet. They aren't ready for it. What they say and believe is about them, not you or reality. Part of your unplugging process necessarily involves reclaiming the power you have given to any other person to hold an opinion that means more to you than the truths of your own heart. Also know that part of the conditioning and the lies that exist within mainstream culture is that life within that system is safer and easier. This is completely untrue. When you learn to live wild and true, you'll see that it's so much easier for the universe to assist, uplift, and support you when you aren't cowering in fear trying to prevent life from reaching you. If you feel you or your life is out of control, or you feel you want to change, but everyone thinks you're crazy, believe in yourself. Know that your wild spirit is being given an empowerment from the universal goddess of life to become untamed. But the choice is yours. The Lovers, the Ten of Wands, and the Eight of Swords. The choice always has been and always will be yours. What serves your highest good? Choose that instead of all these other things that keep you down. Okay. Yay. There you have it, guys. I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so very much for tuning in. I hope, I pray, I believe that this Mercury Retrograde season will be fruitful for you, for all of us even. Yes? Until, hey, we've got until June 2nd. So for the rest of May, all right? Keep your mind, keep your eyes on the prize. Thank you, Zephyr. I hope you enjoy work. I'm glad we could get this message out to you before you started work. Excellent. Thank you all so very much for being here, for tuning in. It has been wonderful to see you and connect with you all. Now the moon is going to be in Virgo for the next few days. Okay, so the moon in Virgo is really going to help you. Again, like I said earlier, is really going to help you. 5555 on the counter. Is really going to help you with this constructive energy. The moon in Virgo is setting your subconscious mind for, or priming it for building or understanding differently, coming up with healing modalities or ways that you can streamline your process or ways that you can make something better. It's very much the energy of Virgo. Virgo is also ruled by Mercury, who is retrograde right now, lending you an opportunity to rewrite certain programmings, literally erase certain things and rewrite it in a better way. And Mercury is in Taurus, another earth sign, another constructive energy. You also have Saturn in Capricorn holding up a scaffolding for you to better align or better improve your reality. Okay, use this trifecta over the next few days. Unfortunately, I don't know exactly when the moon enters and leaves Virgo, but Virgo is one of the largest constellations in the sky. So the moon is most likely going to be in Virgo for the rest of the week, probably up until the weekend. Okay. So keep that in mind, guys. Use this energy to your advantage. All right. I love you all so very much. And I thank you so very much for tuning in. And I guess I'm going to leave it there. Yeah. Excellent African oneness. All right, guys. I love you all. Happy Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of your week. I do feel like I want to come back soon or more often here on YouTube and get some more collective messages a little more frequently. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to spend my time. Mystic Unicorn was doing its thing for a while, and now it's settling down, and I'm recognizing how I can better streamline my process there. And with that said, that's actually freeing up more of my attention for the collective. So that's a good thing. And so I'm going to be bringing that more to the collective here. Also on Patreon, patreon.com/divine conversations. Also, if you just want to be a member and of the channel and donate to the channel, that's a really great way of donating to the channel and helping the channel stay alive. I do post special collective messages there. I do a lot of astrology stuff over there. If you want to follow me in terms of astrology, I definitely am doing astrology stuff way more frequently on Patreon than I am doing it here on YouTube, mainly because I practice true sidereal astrology, and that's not the most popular yet, but you guys know I still talk about it. But if you want more astrology stuff, definitely hit us up on Patreon. And if you're new to true sidereal astrology and you have never seen your chart before, I would be more than happy to send you your birth chart for free. Like, all you got to do is email me and give me your time of birth, date of birth, and place of birth, and I will send you your true sidereal chart so that you can follow along here in understanding where you are in terms of this system. Yeah, free of charge. Unless you want an interpretation or you want to do a reading, that's when we get into charging. But if you just want your chart, please hit me up. You could also go to masteringthezodiac.com. They'll give you the chart. It's the same exact chart there as well. You could do it that way also. Yes. Yeah, I'm also available for private readings too, if you're interested. I don't find that they go together, Charlotte. Charlotte is asking, how do I find... Wait, what do you mean? Do you want to see them juxtapositioned against each other, Charlotte? Or are you asking how they compare to each other or how they go together? Okay, that's great. You do, and Vedic is a really excellent form of astrology as well. And when I first learned of sidereal astrology, I actually learned of Vedic first, and then I found sidereal astrology. And yes, there were a lot of similarities, like as far as, right, so as far as Vedic astrology and sidereal astrology, I have the same placements. However, I also, the thing for me is that Vedic astrology also incorporates Hindu culture. There is so much Hindu culture and Hindu philosophy. There is so much more to Vedic astrology. I mean, namely, just look at the 27 or 29, I think it's 27 nakshatras that are outside of the original 12 zodiac signs found in Vedic astrology, which looks even deeper into your psyche in different ways, and also describes that through Hindu mythology and Hindu uh, religion, I guess, and philosophy and all of that. And sidereal astrology is very similar, okay? Original sidereal astrology is very similar, but what we do here is true sidereal astrology. And with that said, um, it, we are incorporating Ophiuchus, because I don't even think sidereal astrology incorporates Ophiuchus, or at least what sidereal astrology was originally, or is in its original form. I don't think it incorporated Ophiuchus. This system does, but also why it's called true sidereal astrology is because it also takes into account the actual sizes of the constellations, okay? Regardless of the fact that Ophiuchus is now placed back into it, the constellations are not all an equal 30 degrees. Like I was saying earlier, the moon is about to be in Virgo for about the rest of the week, because Virgo is one of the largest constellations, actually might arguably be the largest constellation in our sky. So any of the planets that transit through Virgo spend a lot of time in Virgo, okay? So that's where I see Vedic astrology, sidereal astrology, and true sidereal astrology. We do true sidereal astrology here. So when it comes to my main placements in sidereal and in Vedic, I have the same 3 placements, which are different from Western astrology. But when I compare true sidereal astrology to sidereal / Vedic, I have 1 placement different. My moon sign is different in true sidereal versus regular sidereal, which makes sense because in regular sidereal, my moon is at 29 degrees of this sign. But then when you get into the actual sizes of the constellation and what's actually going on in our sky right now as we speak, my moon is well into the next one, is a little further into the next sign rather than being at 29 degrees of the previous sign, if that makes sense. So my moon sign changes, okay? So that's why I don't even really, I say true sidereal is separate from sidereal, which is separate from Vedic, okay? When you saw you were a Pisces in sidereal, you couldn't understand it. You also just learned about draconic, which resonated with me. Yeah, there are so many different forms of astrology. Yeah, I hear you, Yuji Rose. The time of birth thing is a real kick in the pants sometimes. Emily June, which reading would you choose if you wanted a chart interpretation? So if you want a chart interpretation, um, I would say go with a live reading. Ideally, you want to go, I want to say we should go with an hour-long live reading, because then that gives us a maximum amount of time to really talk about your chart, okay? 30 minutes would kind of be okay, but it really wouldn't give us enough time to really like talk about it. You know, I would be spending a good 30 minutes just kind of describing things to you. But whichever you prefer, I do recommend the 60-minute live session. Oh, tropical, you meant, Charlotte. Well, I'm glad that you said it that way, because in tropical, it's so different. It's so different, you guys. Excellent, Emily. Tropical versus sidereal, or I'll say versus true sidereal, is so incredibly different. First of all, the main difference is that true sidereal astrology, or even sidereal and probably Vedic to some degree, would only make sense. But the big thing is that in terms of tropical astrology, that was put in place 3,000 years ago by the Babylonians. Sometimes it's called Babylonian astrology, right? Western, tropical, mainstream, whatever. But the planet of Earth has shifted naturally, as it does throughout time, has shifted on its axis since that time. So our visible sky has shifted backwards, has changed. How we see, or the position that we see the constellations in now, in this day and age, is different from when they saw them back when Western astrology was originally put into place. That is a huge difference. And that's why that is a big part of the reason why so much changes. Why you'll be a Taurus sun in in tropical astrology, depending on when you were born, while you'll be a Taurus sun, but in true sidereal, you're now an Aries. Or when you used to be an Aries, now you're a Piscean. Or if you're a Cancerian, now you're a Gemini. Yeah, because everything shifts backwards about 21 or 22 degrees. And somebody asked a question, if this is because they were doing some research. I'm so sorry. I have to remember to answer that question. But they asked if they saw in their research that time moves slower in true sidereal. No, it's not that time moves slower. It's that it's that the situation shifts backwards because of how the planet shifts on its axis. Naturally, it will continue to do this, okay? So we have to continually take account for this. Yes, it takes thousands of years to make a big change, but it still happens, okay? But then on top of that, like I was saying earlier, we have Ophiuchus in the system. That's a big difference from Western tropical astrology. The Babylonians actually took that out because 13 is not divisible by 4, and the less toxic your funny spirit, the less toxic version of explaining this is humans lived by the seasons at that time. There were 4 seasons. To make things easier, they took Ophiuchus out to give us 12 signs that were easily divisible by 4, and then split everything up in equal 30 degrees again to make it all equally divisible by 4. That's the less toxic version of explaining it, right? But those are the differences between tropical mainstream Western astrology and true sidereal astrology. Yes. I'm sorry, I haven't been keeping up with the chat here, but Pisces Sun, Leo Moon. Go Leo Moon. Yes, go Leo Moon. Now, the other thing about shifting from sidereal to Western, or I'm sorry, shifting from Western to true sidereal, I found that it's almost like you're breaking out of a matrix or the matrix self, because you're going with what society has told you you are, or what society has told you you are supposed to be. It's not who or what you truly are. For some reason, we still stick to this old version of astrology, I guess because humans are not too quick to change. But I found that I was breaking out of a very self centered, insecure version of myself because that's never who I felt that I was. It never really truly resonated with me. I mean, I liked the idea of it, but when it got down to when I really discovered it, first through Vedic, then through sidereal, then I heard about true sidereal. As I started to break down the layers and start to accept who I was in relation to what was actually happening in the sky when I was born, I started to realize, wait, no, these are really my natural traits. I'm not really a Taurus sun, even though in terms of my progressed chart, which is a discussion we can have later, in terms of my progressed sun has been in Taurus for quite a while in my lifetime. But naturally, who I am at the core of my being, my sun, my soul, is Aries. Always has been, always will be. And part of why I felt so insecure was because that was, in many ways, that was beaten out of me. And it's not just through astrology. It's just, I don't know. Those are the circumstances that were in life, but I've overcome that. So there you go. But it was definitely, it felt like breaking out of a sense of matrix like self, breaking out of the imposed identity, right? Especially if are the type of person to really pay attention to astrology and build your sense of self or sense of character through the framework of astrology. It's very much who you were told to be, not who you actually are. And I don't want to demonize people for that or demonize the systems for that, but there is a time where you are ready to break free from that and start to get down to the real thing. And I'll be honest with you guys, paying attention to the chart or trying to read the chart or anything never really made full sense to me until I got to true sidereal astrology. And I was able to answer the questions for myself. And I was able to sit here and say to myself, okay, what am I feeling and what's really going on? And then look at what's really going on in the sky and say, yes, now that makes sense. Somebody didn't like what I was saying because I just got stung by an ant on my throat chakra or on my neck. Whatever. Society's coming from Spirit just said society's coming for you. Oh well. It's breaking the old templates. Exactly. Exactly, Rose. But see, that's the whole point of existence, of every universal reality. Okay? Suns, which are the stars of the universe, are the logos, are the hold the blueprints of a given universe. And they project the programming or the hologram of what it is the energetic, they set the energetic framework, the energetic stage for what is meant to be learned, achieved, and experienced within a given galaxy. Okay? Suns change over time, are constantly fluctuating, are constantly changing, growing, expanding, and then dying out. So why couldn't humanity, why couldn't society, why wouldn't anything living within the universe of that logos or the universe of that sun, why wouldn't you also change with it? That's what existence is for. Expansion, growth, learning, understanding, achieving, receiving, and then giving in return. Use these opportunities wisely. This Mercury in retrograde could really help you change some things, okay? Yes, the more we break out, the more society will fight back. Yes. You know what what comes to mind with that, Charlotte? It's very much like what I was talking about in the reading today, about there being some sort of energetic organism that has been feeding off of what you've been giving it, the sugar, okay? The sugar, the sweetener, the sweet stuff that you've been giving it. Page of Pentacles reversed. It's a living thing. Energies, thought forms become living things eventually if they are fed for long enough. They eventually are able to become self-sustaining, creating certain circumstances or situations that continue to feed them. Why? Because they are consciousness. So eventually it becomes a living organism. Okay, maybe not living in terms of maybe it doesn't do respiration like we do, which is the literal or technical definition of life that we in the 3D have given or come to understand. Okay. But energetically speaking, it is a living thing because it is conscious of itself and it goes about creating situations that only help to sustain it. It becomes self-sustaining. And so you can think of the reality of society as something like that. It has its own force behind it that desires to continue. And thus it will fight back. It will defend itself. It will try and do what it needs to do to preserve itself. But ultimately, it cannot overcome your free will. Just like conversely, you cannot overcome its free will to live either. But what you can do is no longer work to or keep sustaining it and thus take your power and your energy back. And ultimately, let it die out from lack of sustainment. I know that sounds cruel, but such is life and death, right? Starve it. Don't feed it anymore. Literally, don't feed it anymore. I don't believe it's impossible for us to strive towards balance, not perfection. Yes, it's not easy, but it's always a possibility. We're becoming more aware of the instability imposed on us. Yes, Rose. Yes, and diddly do. That's right. That is right, you guys. I'm liking this conversation we're having here. This is fun. I'm learning about all of this right now. Virgo, I'm so glad. Virgo 83, I'm so glad. How do we even know if it's 2022? When society followed the moon cycle, it's a 28-day cycle. Why add extra days to confuse the masses? I have no idea. I really could not answer that question for you, Rose, but there was some article, I don't know if it was real or not, but there was some article that I saw Not Rose, Blue Flame. That was Blue Flame that said that. But there was some article that I saw that there are certain indigenous African cultures that are on a completely different timeline, and it's like 7 years ahead for them or some shit like that, like something crazy, drastic like that, because they follow some sort of more natural universal time, and we're on this draconian system. I don't know if that's the right phrase to use, draconian, but yikes. But yeah, how do we know if it's even really 2022? But then again, Blue Flame, it's Ethiopia and it's like 2018. Oh, 2018, and we're way ahead. Okay. Okay, yeah. But you see, how do we, but see, that's the thing though. Time is an illusion. Time does not really exist. Like the human mind, in its need to make sense of its surroundings, which more power to it. I mean, no shade there, okay? But in its need and desire to make sense of its surroundings, time is something that was constructed. Charlotte, thank you so much for that donation. Time is an illusion, guys. Time does not exist. It is only a figment of the imagination. Yeah, that's what you're talking about, Blue Flame. Yeah. Ooh. I'm getting lighted now. Whoa. Whoa, that was a yes. That was me kind of breaking out there a little bit. Okay, shit. Oh my God, I could sit here and talk to you guys all day. Anyway, I should probably go now, though. Save the rest of the conversation for another day, another time. Yeah. But this has been wonderful. I want to do this more often. Thank you guys for being here. I love you all. The illusion measures everything. We're out of sync with the cosmos, the truest measure of existence. Hence my imposition of true sidereal astrology. Bing! In the Himalayas, Shauna is saying, and it's like 2042. Oh my God. Wow. But then also, how does that translate to the Mayan calendar? Anyway, I'm gonna go. I think I want to make something to eat, maybe. Anyway, I love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you enjoy, or you're able to make the most of this Mercury Retrograde season. And I look forward to connecting with you again very, very soon. Yeah. You better do it, Blue Flame, with your Jupiter return. Yes. All right. I love you guys. Take care. Bye.